Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday, and welcome to Pop Culture Power. This is your host, Christal Jordan. And yes, I know it is a little bit past noon. Actually, it is quite a bit past noon here on the East Coast, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm running a little bit late today because there's so much going on, so much happening here in Atlanta, so much happening, in pop culture. So if you are just joining today for the first time, this is my weekly wrap up of all the different articles that I write for different platforms. I thought I would do something every week to kind of celebrate the power of pop culture and how I contribute to it. So there's one place that you guys can get everything. Some of the listeners on this channel tune in specifically for like the conversations I'm ready to love. Some tune in for the conversations with different actresses or actors that I do for Rolling Out. Some, of course, Lennox and Parker, where I am editor in chief. I am a new senior features writer for Collider, where I talk about reality TV and, of course, covers and relationships for Rolling Out. So this is like a hodgepodge of all my contributions to pop culture. So welcome, welcome. Come on in. Hey, Colton. Hey, thank you so much for being such an amazing subscriber. But I hope everybody is having a great Friday. It has been a very full week. If you guys have been watching this channel, you may know that my interview with Jada Pinkett actually went viral, which was really cool for me because I definitely put my heart and soul into that write up, right? And so I'm going to start with that today because, of course, that's the thing that has been going viral and have been trending. And so if you have not read my cover piece on Jada Pinkett Smith, please go to rollingout.com and check it out. That is the beautiful cover there of Jada herself. And of course, the write up includes my take on the book and also a little bit of our conversation. Now, you can check out the entire conversation right here on the channel. You can go back to the archives. Actually, that went live yesterday. So you can check that out. Also, you can go to rollingout.com and see all the pieces that I have done on Jada in this new book. I gotta say that the hype that people had around the book was because a lot of the comments that people saw her making, specifically when it came to the revelation that she and Will were no longer the married couple that we thought. They had been separated since 2016, which seemed crazy for those of us that have been watching them. When we saw them sit down at the red table and talk about their relationship, bad marriage for life. We all remember that. So people really reacted strongly to her revealing to Hoda Kotb that they had not been living as husband and wife for a really long time. I'm not going to lie, that surprised me as well. I knew they were, we know that their marriage has not necessarily been traditional, and the fact they've talked about, we learned about Jada's entanglement with August Alsina. So we knew that it might not have all been peaches and cream, which honestly no marriage is. But to hear Jada say that they had been separated since 2016 was a surprise. I think also was a surprise of her saying that she felt like Tupac was a soulmate. And that clip was released by myself. But the thing about it is she did insist and continues to insist that they were just friends, that they did try a romantic relationship, which I think most people that have a really strong friendship, especially if it's to attract people that are relatively attracted to each other, it makes sense that they would have tried to see if there was a possibility. In the book, she details them sharing a kiss and then both being disgusted. So anyway, the stories were going viral, and so I thought it would be a great opportunity to have an opportunity for healing, as we know. We know Jada talks about. If you guys cannot hear me, please put. If you can hear me, please put an XO in the chat. I see Robin says that she cannot hear me. If you cannot hear me, please put an XO in the chat. If you can hear, put an XO in the chat so I'll know that you guys can hear. I want to make sure that you guys can hear. So please put an XO. Thank you, Stacy. If you can hear me. Oh, and make sure while you put that XO that you go ahead and like and subscribe if you're not a subscriber as well. But going back to Jada, so all this was happening, and I feel like for me, as a Black woman that enjoys uplifting and celebrating other Black women, I wanted to do something to kind of bring a little perspective to the conversation. So I invited Dr. Nicole and her business partner, Christal Khalil, to come on the show. And we just had a really candid conversation about Black women and how we often are not protected. We're often, criticized so harshly, and I brought up the fact that we know Will has talked about the marriage and the marriage not necessarily being traditional, and the fact that he has fantasies about I think he said, was it Holly Berry? And I know it was Misty Copeland because I thought that was interesting. And no one thought that, Jada's feelings could be hurt. However, when Jada said that Tupac was her soulmate and a lot of the conversations she's had around Tupac, oh my God, social media went crazy and Jada became public enemy number one. So we actually released a kind of like a message to Jada. And I actually should pull that. Let me see if I can get that to play for you guys, because I thought it was just it was extremely important, because I had been one of the outlets that had helped to share the story, and there may have been misunderstandings with that. And so I wanted to make sure that I was also a part of adding to um, healing and the perspective, coming in a different way. And so that's what I did. Dr. Nicole and Christal were so gracious, and we actually, left a message for her. I'm going to try to pull that message for you guys to be able to hear, or at least a snippet of it. It is on. It is in the conversation that we had with her, that we had with Christal and Dr. Nicole. If you look back in the archives, is at the very end of that. But I also want to share that here. So we shared that on social media. If you follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is at Enchanted PR. And we shared that just a message of encouragement and love, to Jada Pinkett Smith. And I'm going to try to pull that for you guys so you can actually hear that. Um, so you'll understand a little bit of the context that I'm speaking of right now. So, um, so shared that, and that actually went viral as well. That message to Jada, from women who actually care, and had something to say. If you guys have watched this channel, I've interviewed Dr. Nicole. I'm a big fan of hers because I feel like she is somebody that speaks from a perspective that's a little bit deeper. It's not the typical therapy conversation. I think it's really more detailed for our community. And that's why I really enjoy whenever she comes, because she has great advice and just perspective. So I want to play this really quickly so you guys can hear it. This was our message to, well, I asked Dr. Nicole and Christal for a message, and this was part of that conversation. You to give a message to Jada, that we can share. And in that to Jada, it probably will resonate with the rest of us and all those of us that are out dealing with similar situations that may not be on such a magnified platform.
I would just say, Jada, I see you, sis, and I celebrate you. I celebrate your courage to be free to speak your truth, to do your work, to shine your light in dark spaces. I celebrate your courage to live despite the depression, to fight through and to live and to share that story with others who need hope and encouragement. Right. And I celebrate your courage to do that in the face of all the noise. Because unfortunately, sometimes that's what we see and we hear, but there's more people that need a good word than there are those that are going to have something negative to say. You just don't always hear from them. So we see you, we appreciate your courage as a Black woman, to be a role model for other young Black women, to talk about your trauma, because there's other young Black women who have had similar experiences, and when they look at you, they can see that they can make it, that there's hope. There's hope for overcoming those situations. So I would just thank her. I would just thank you, Jada, for sharing your story.
Yeah. The title of your book is Worthy, and your beautiful face is on the cover. So you knew that this was going to cause some of this, maybe not all of it, but some of this, because your beautiful face is on the cover, and right over your face is the word worthy, which is what we as Black women are fighting for every day, is to be safe and to be seen. So, sis, may you find soft pillows.
I love that. May you find soft pillows everywhere. So that was released, and I am so excited to let you guys know that Jada Pinkett saw that and she responded. And she said, I've got to read the quote because she posted it on her Instagram page. And that's when you really know that sister support is the best support. I've always said that. A lot of people don't understand what I mean and don't necessarily agree. I've always said I refuse to belittle a Black woman on this platform. And so Jada said, when we pour love on each other, it's like pouring warm honey on the soul. And so I really hope that encouraged her to know that there are Black women out here that see her. We all make mistakes. We're all human. We're all fallible, but that does not make us unworthy of love. And so I appreciate you guys for supporting that and supporting this channel, even though I am committed not to doing that, even when, trust me, sometimes people try to pull you in. They try to pull you in. I was tried recently with someone that wanted to go back and forth in a negative way. And I was like, you know what? I refuse to do that. I refuse to do that. So I appreciate you all supporting that, because I think this channel would be so many more people here if I did that. But because I refuse to, the ones of you that are here, I know you're supposed to be here. Hey, Mimi. So moving on, that was amazing. Please make sure you check out that story on rollingout.com. They were excited. I talked to Munson Seed about the vision of wanting to really celebrate Jada. He was all for it. And that's another reason why I so enjoy working with Black outlets that allow me to tell my story in those ways. So now we got to take a little bit of a pivot, because you guys know I'm also all about reality TV. And this season, Real Housewives of Potomac is back with a bang. And so this story that I wrote for Collider, titled Real Housewife of Potomac's Ashley Darby Could Teach Mia Thornton How to Be a Gold Digger. Ashley Darby should be considered a hypergamy expert, and how she is handling her separation divorce from her husband, Michael Darby. Now, again, this is not in the negative tone. This is just saying that if you're going to do something, do it right. We see that in Potomac, it is the culture for a woman. First of all the women are absolutely gorgeous, but they also are very, I don't think there's anything people are shocked or there's any shyness about the fact that these women in Potomac really do use what they got to get what they want. Okay. Ashley and Candace are both former beauty queens, much like our good sis Kenya Moore here in Atlanta. But Ashley, young, beautiful beauty queen, married a very wealthy restaurateur, Michael Darby. Now, Mia has a very different story. Okay. Mia Thornton has a very different story. She was not a beauty queen, but she was an exotic dancer. So, both categories are able to attract wealthy, affluent men with a lot of available income to share. And so she too found a very wealthy businessman that was a lot older. I think they're both in May-December relationships. And so it's interesting that when I just wanted to point out this lesson for women, and it's not necessarily good about Ashley or bad about Mia or either one, but if you are a woman that believes in marrying up, right, and marrying for money or security or financial stability, there's a certain way to play that hand, right? And so I feel like Ashley has done a great job of playing that hand. If you guys realize, they are separated, have been going through a divorce for quite some time. However, Ashley is still living in the house, right? And Ashley was still living in the house with Michael. She recently moved out, but Michael's name is on the mortgage. Michael's name is on the mortgage. And Ashley was telling Giselle that she enjoys having Michael's name on the mortgage because, you know, if something were to happen and she needed help, he was there. Now, if you guys will remember, when Ashley was going through issues with Michael, they both, you know, both husbands enjoy extracurricular activities, which a lot of very wealthy men that look to marry younger, beautiful women do. Um, Ashley, you know, she was disappointed. She did acknowledge that they too had threesomes. So the relationships are very, very, very similar. Both Ashley and Michael and Mia and her husband have acknowledged that they've invited other people into their bedroom. One of the differences that I point out in that article that's on collider.com is that Ashley did not bring one of the women that she invited into the bedroom onto the show. Okay. So Mia invites Jacqueline, that she's had a threesome with her husband with, on the show. Their friendship implodes on the show. And Mia goes at Gordon, right? She goes back at her husband. She fusses with him on the show. Ashley did not necessarily have the same approach. She did not bring one of their friends onto the show, and she didn't even acknowledge that they'd done that until after the marriage was already broken. And she also, this is the biggest tip that I want women to pay attention to. When times got hard, because anytime you marry someone for money, you have to understand that money comes and goes, right? So when times got rough financially for Michael, Ashley did not turn on him. She just played along. She had his back verbally. We don't know what happened in the house, but she did not turn on him. And so when his finances leveled back up, she reaped the benefits. Mia, on the other hand, as soon as things started to look bad for Gordon with the situation with his brother and all that, Mia turned on him like a rabid snake. She turned on him, kicked him to the curb, so much so that Gordon went to TMZ to talk about the fact that Mia had only married him for his money and basically that they were going to get divorced. Now, I want to point out the differences. Now, Ashley is going through a divorce and Michael is still supporting, he's paying her mortgage, damn near, right? Gordon and Mia are going through a divorce, and trust me, there's going to be an ugly divorce. I doubt that Gordon is going to be open to helping her later. And I also we don't know how quickly Mia will be able to rebound and find another wealthy man. My point in the article is just this, and you guys can let me know what you think. If you're going to be a gold digger, be a good gold digger and know the gold digger rules. The gold digger rules suggest that you handle everything with decorum once you get to a certain level, because most men that have a large sum of money, they may go through times of deficit where they lose it, but trust and believe he will find it again. And what you always want to do is have an open door so that when he rebounds and his finances are back intact, you can reap the benefit of those as well. If you don't want to be with him anymore, that's fine, but you want him to be able to provide for the children without going through a nasty divorce. I guarantee you, Mia and Gordon are going to have a really nasty divorce. Very, very nasty divorce. Or Ashley, on the other hand, is playing it safe and she's going to continue to reap the benefits. Now, again, I am not a woman that relies on a man's money for my livelihood, so this is not necessarily my situation. However, I am able to look at a situation and see if you're going to do that, then you need to play by the rules. Can't hate the players, you have to hate the game. And if you're not playing the game correctly and you get ousted, the issue is no one's but your own. So I really think that Mia should take a lesson from Ashley and she should have learned to play her cards a little bit differently. She did a photo shoot recently and her friend was talking about good deed does the body good, but whether good deed does the body good or not makes no difference. Good deed does not always suggest or provide security. So Mia, I think you fumbled the bag. I think you fumbled the bag badly, and I think that's going to have consequences and repercussions that are going to continue you throughout this season of Real Housewives of Potomac and possibly next season. Stay tuned for that. Another show that I wrote an article about is, if you guys are fans of Netflix, Love is Blind. I had to attack the idea that, first of all, Love is Blind. There were so many issues throughout the whole season. But at the reunion, we were missing the main villain, Uche. Uche was missing from the reunion. So this article, The Love is Blind season 5 reunion, fell short without Uche Okora's manipulation. So Uche was a big part of the drama in the house, or in the pods rather, for Love is Blind. Mainly because for the first time in Love is Blind history, two two singles, a man and a woman, already knew each other before they got into the pods. Uche and Lydia already knew each other. They had already dated. They had been intimate. They had shared, intimacy, and had dated for a while quite seriously. So Uche accused Lydia of literally finding out that he was going to be on the show and applying to be on the show herself. We don't know if that's true or not. If I was going to give you my honest opinion, I'd probably say yes. I probably believe that Lydia did that because it just is too big of a coincidence for her to know that he's going to be on the show and then for her to get on the show. And then when she was there, she was like, well, do you think that we should still try this again? So that tells me my spidey senses started tingling. And I believe that Lydia actually wanted another chance with Uche. But Uche used that to his benefit, and he was so manipulative all season. First of all, he berated Lydia. He talked down to her. He told people all these things that she had done. But most importantly, Aaliyah, who he had formed a connection with, he is the type of person that uses things against you. So she told him that she had an affair in a previous relationship. He made her feel so guilty. He put her down for it. He acted like that was the reason he was going to break things off with her. And yes, I'm going to get to that. Lydia did stalk Uche. But, he basically used the fact that Aaliyah was being honest to manipulate her. He manipulated her and she fell for it. So she's like, oh my God, he's going to break things off with me. He doesn't feel a connection with me because I'm a cheater. There's a point where he says, oh, you're a recent cheater. And he's just this condescending tone that she totally fell for. And she was crying. She goes back to the pods, and the girls start to comfort her. And Lydia is the number one person that comforts her. Now, we can all assume that Lydia probably had ulterior motives. Lydia comes off like this super sweet, but I just don't know if I buy that. She knew that Aaliyah and Uche had a connection, and she went out of her way to tell Aaliyah everything that she possibly could about Uche. So Uche is now he thought he had Aaliyah in his clutches because she was feeling bad about what she did. Then she finds out that Lydia and Uche had an affair. I know it's drama. It's drama at its finest. Netflix brought drama at its finest. So then things play out. Aaliyah can't handle it and she leaves. Now, Uche sees that his connection is gone. And so, of course, he wants to get back. He wants revenge against Lydia. And so, literally, Uche tries to convince Lydia's new connection, Milton, that he should drop Lydia. He shows Milton text messages. He tells Milton all this negative stuff about Lydia, which may or may not be true. But the reality is, it was not his place to do that because this show is Love is Blind. You're not supposed to have ammunition from the past to use against people in present day. So Uche was manipulative and wrong. And then, you guys, he skipped out on the reunion. So the entire point of my article is it was unfair for Uche to have so much drama and then not to be held accountable at the reunion. We know the reunion is where everyone comes back, and Vanessa and Nick attempt to hold the contestants accountable. Do they do a good job all the time? No, I think Vanessa's just super nice. And she also probably has her favorites, or at least that's how it seems. So we don't really see anyone get really held to the fire, but at least they have to answer for what their actions were. Uche skips out on the reunion. Milton is still under Lydia's spell, but he does say that he told Uche that experience was his, and he would be finding out he would be working through his own relationship with Lydia, which was extremely mature. Ironic that Milton was the youngest person on the cast and had the most mature actions. Last thing I'm going to say about this is that the show, I don't believe that love is blind. Love is blind, and unless you are not attracted to the person. Love is blind as long as your significant other is physically appealing. At the point that they are not, then love becomes very circumstantial. It's not unconditional at all. Still, the show is fun to watch, and people enjoy that. So Aaliyah claims that she's in a new relationship. I agree that Uche definitely did not plan to attend the reunion. I think once he saw that Milton was not going to give in, and he saw that Aaliyah and he weren't going to work, he did not want to look like the bad guy, and he decided not to show up. He said that he had a prior work engagement, but I feel like they should make being a part of the reunion a mandate. Like, it should be in the contract that if you're going to be a part of the show, you have to be there at the reunion, because that was lame as hell. Come to find out that not only Uche dogged out Lydia and talked negatively about her, but he also had talked about the other castmates. Izzy shared that Uche had said a lot of negative things about him. So there were so many seeds that Uche had planted throughout the year, throughout the season, that he didn't have to be there and actually own up to, that I think it was really, really unfair to the rest of the cast. So that is my take on my pop culture power this week. I have an amazing set of articles set to go next week. I want to remind you guys that this reality romance and even celebrity life is not real life. You know, we see relationships that we want to emulate. We see, yes, little fires everywhere. Literally, that is actually a really good show. And it's funny because I think that this shows this last month in pop culture has really shown me that money, success, and fame do not guarantee happiness. We see Jada Pinkett has a life that most of us would envy and would kill to have. And yet she still acknowledges that she deals with some of the same things that we deal with on a regular basis, from depression to suicidal thoughts to a relationship that she's in heartbreak about. So even, and you mentioned Little Fires Everywhere, Kerry Washington was the heroine of that show. She's an amazing actress. Even Kerry Washington has shared that she's dealt with depression, dealt with feelings of insecurity, wanted to commit suicide at points. So please don't watch reality television and don't watch celebrity lifestyle and assume that those people have perfect lives compared to yours. Comparison is the thief of joy, guys. We enjoy this. We enjoy talking about reality TV, but the reality is your reality is the most important thing to you. But before I go, I've got to let you guys know that tonight is the second episode of Ready to Love, Make a Move. Now, you guys know Ready to Love is a big staple on this channel. Every Friday night, we're going to be recapping the spinoff, which is Ready to Love, Make a Move, which cast 4 of the previous alum from Ready to Love. Now, I've got this clip I'm going to run. I would love to interview Uche. Absolutely. In fact, we should try to make that happen. I want to play for you guys this clip. And we're going to leave with this question. And if you're watching this broadcast later, please give us your answer to this question in the chat. So this season, we see 4 women living in the house. Check out this clip from tonight's episode of Ready to Love, Make a Move.
Settling into everything.
I just feel like we have to be considerate because we do have to share this space.
Wait, time out. Anything going on?
I have rules.
The house rules? What
that
are
I
these
don't
rules?
want to be broken.
Like what?
Like, no guys in the house.
What happened? I need to know. I don't see things. How do you tell me?
I mean, once you start drinking different things, you
What
see a
happened,
different
Sharif?
side of people. I think we were just all turned up last night.
We turned the kitchen into our own club, and we had a good time in the kitchen.
We had a great time. What a time.
But why is there a rule about no guys in the house? Did something happen?
It's crazy.
We were sitting around in the kitchen, just having girl talk.
And we're just like in our flow, like having an amazing time. I asked a question, how do y'all feel about company coming over?
In my mind, I'm just thinking, how do you handle this?
Vernisha says, girl, we all grown. Let's have a good time. Ashley says, I don't care. Do what you want to do.
Unfortunately, Charisse was not having it.
I was very surprised and shocked that she would have wanted to do that. And I just sat nice and politely. I said, I don't want any dudes coming to this house that I'm staying in that I don't know.
I immediately say, okay.
So we thought that that was done.
I had to get up this morning to let someone in.
The next morning, I arrived to the house.
Okay. All right. First of all, my question to you guys is, let's do a poll. I'm going to do a poll on this page. Can 4 grown women live in a house, even if the purpose is to find love? Can women live in a house together? I would say no. Not 4 grown women that don't know each other and are coming from various parts of the world. No. Charisse is from Miami. She has her own business. Vernisha is from Houston, has her own business. Zadia is originally from Atlanta, but lives in DC, has her own thing going on. And Ashley is turning up here in Atlanta. Absolutely not, because everyone has different boundaries. Everyone has different preferences. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I feel like when you're college age, that's a little bit, it's a little bit easier to do. Grown women, in my opinion, cannot live together. I do not even want to live with my girlfriends. Like, I probably could, and I did stay with one of my girlfriends years and years ago. She and I were both in transition, moving into different houses, and we stayed together for a few months. But no. Sometimes mothers and daughters can't even live together. But this is going to be crazy. Tune in tonight. Tonight, I'm going to be hosting a pre-conversation on OWN's Instagram. Then I'm going to be live tweeting. And then, of course, Scorpio Mo and I will be here at 10 o'clock to recap the show and let you guys know what we think. I hope you guys will tune back in. I hope that more people will start to watch Pop Culture Power. We're giving away another beauty pack. So if you're interested in getting a beauty pack from me, please make sure that you hashtag PCP, Pop Culture Power, hashtag PCP, and let me know in the comments, would you live with 3 other grown women for any amount of time? Let me know your answer along with the hashtag PCP and hashtag RTL Make a Move. And I'll see you guys tonight at 10 o'clock, or you can always come over to Instagram at 7 o'clock and hang out with me and the ladies from Make a Move. I love you guys for watching. Remember, pop culture is powerful, but is not as powerful as the idea of love. I wish you guys love and power for the rest of this weekend. I will see you guys back here tonight. I love you. Bye-bye.